The Queen glowering from the benches behind her. There's a bit of an intent to maybe get up behind Granny. It looks as though they might be laughing at what they're seeing in front of them. Maybe trying almost too hard. That big gesture might not have quite received the official royal approval. I'm Judi James. I'm a body language expert and author, and I'm going to be looking at the body language and cues to tell us what Queen Elizabeth II really thought about Meghan Markle. Now, we have this very iconic image from the wedding, and ostensibly what we're seeing here appears to be Meghan sitting in profile and the Queen glowering from the benches or behind her. Now, if we look at the Queen's facial expression here, it's very hard to see that as anything other than a bit of a glowering, angry, baleful, maybe even I can see what's going to happen here, kind of a facial expression. And then we get, in the front of the pose, we get Meghan looking very radiant, very bridal, very unsuspecting. So we get this kind of iconic story around this one picture that the Queen knew. She knew that Meghan was going to be trouble. She didn't particularly like her very much, and Meghan was very sweet and wanting to integrate with the royals. I'm going to question that, though, because I think the late Queen's body language was fascinating. I probably covered her body language, not all her life, clearly, but for a lot of her reign. And the big thing about the late Queen is that she didn't really do body language. What did she think about anything? It was almost like a Melania Sphinx-like, we're really not sure, we've got to put our own interpretation into what she's thinking. She didn't allow her emotions, or very rarely allowed her emotions to show. Firstly, I would look at her outfit. She's gone out for a good day out. You know, if this was your auntie turning up at your wedding, she likes the wedding, she likes the bride, she likes the groom. She's got citrus green on, she's got a big feather in her hat. This is not the kind of outfit that somebody that was thinking, this isn't going to last, I don't like it and I don't approve, would probably wear. Now, this is a facial expression that the Queen did use a lot of her life. She called it, I think, her Miss Piggy face. And I think it's the kind of face that a lot of us have when we're not smiling. As she got older, it became even more acutely so baleful, glowering looking, but it was no indicative of to what she was actually thinking or how she was actually feeling. So the first thing I would do in terms of what she really thought about Meghan is to dismiss this, because I really don't think that the late Queen, after spending all those years of duty and service and not showing her emotions, would suddenly pitch up at the wedding of the grandson that she kind of doted on. I mean, she was very fond of Harry, and sit there with that face deliberately to show her disapproval. So I'm going to delete that one. Meghan's first Christmas at Sandringham was, I think, the first time that we got to see her as part of the royal pack, with the Queen very much in the lead. And I think if we look at this particular photograph, we can see the Queen. What she's doing here is she's doing what she always tended to do when there was any induction process going on, when somebody new had joined the royal family, which in a way was to ignore them. She's come out, she's got the bright coat on, she knows that she's the centre of attention. She's not going to be fussing over this new little chick that's been brought into the nest. If anything, I mean, if we're going to use a bird analogy, she tended to be more like the mother duck that just walks off and leaves the little chicks walking behind. And the Queen here, that's really upbeat facial expression from the Queen. And I think if there was any problems going on behind her at this point, and boy, you know, if it was now, there'd be many problems going on behind her. But I think at this stage, if we look at that facial expression, that's a very congruent smile from the Queen. It engages her eye expression, the mouse is engaged in quite an open smile. She looks genuinely happy, apart from the fact it's Christmas, and very proud of her brood behind her, even if she's not going to be turning around and introducing them and fussing over them. So I would say from her body language here that this was, again, a very good sign. All married off now, and it all seems to be working, and we've got this new addition who will probably bring that breath of fresh air into the royal firm. In the background, we kind of get a first glance of Meghan. Now, again, very much towing the line here. She's got this very sludgy coloured outfit on, which she said later was not her thing, but she thought that she should wear it, you know, shades of brown and other oatmeal-y horrible things, so that all the attention was focused on the Queen. So great, towing the line. But we can also see a degree of intentional body language here, because in a way, you know the phrase, nobody puts baby in a corner? I think that's true of Meghan, because you know, she's a little bit tinier than the rest of them. She's managed to get in front of William and Kate here, and even though she's a little head that we can hardly see, you can see that there is, from her facial expression, there's a bit of an intent to maybe get up behind Granny. That ended with this pose, which I loved. Harry is doing the normal royal body language here. The Queen was about to drive off. He's kind of standing to attention. I mean, usually there might be a little nod, but it's on a big occasion like this. He's bowing his head. I mean, you know, this is very royal body language, very formal, very much protocol-based body language. And we can see that Meghan is doing a curtsy, and when I say curtsy, she's doing sort of a bit of a bob. They're hard to do, but she's bobbing. But I think what's very telling here is about her body language, because she's clearly looking in the car at the Queen. And if we look at her facial expression, she's performing a cheek rounding and raising smile, which is the sort of smile that would be what's called a body language connecting cue. It's more than just a formal nod of the head. It's kind of a genuinely warm and friendly smile between people that really do know each other, which possibly wasn't true at that point. Then we had the Queen took Meghan out as part of the induction. And this is when she did the same with Kate, you know, I'll take you out. She's not exactly going to show them the ropes in terms of huge conversations about what to do and what not to do. Again, it's very much that mother swan or mother duck thing, where just watch what I do, follow me for a while, and then, you know, as you learn the ropes, you can move up the pecking order a little bit. Now, Meghan's sitting next to her. Now, again, the Queen has got an absolutely delightful smile on her face. No clouds troubling that smile whatsoever, but that's mainly because of what's in front of her. If we look at her hand gestures, we've got a meshed clasp, but there's no real gripping going on there. There's nothing to show that her teeth might be clenched, that she's in any way taking against Meghan. What we have from Meghan, though, if we go from the arm upwards, we have this confiding barrier ritual. So we've got the Queen doing display smiles for the public and the audience, but Meghan has decided to turn it a little bit into something, you know, that kind of whispery, intimate-y, socially type thing, liaison dangereuse that have got their fans out. It's that kind of a communication that, you know, this is my new granny and we can whisper about things. And she's holding her hand in front of her mouth. Now, not a good thing in royal circles, because it means that it looks like she's got a secret that she's telling the Queen. And we can see as well from her facial expression, she's also implying the sharing of a secret, because she's looking at the Queen's face as though to say, this will make you laugh, this is going to make you laugh even more. She's got a sort of giggly eye smile going on there. Now, that might have made her look as though she was very close to the Queen, but in terms of royal signalling to the public, which for the Queen is more important, it looks as though they might be laughing at what they're seeing in front of them, and that would be an absolute no-no. Here we've got from the same scene, and we can see that the Queen's facial expression has lost that delighted smile, that very relaxed smile. It's not exactly a look of disapproval, but it's going a little bit reflective at this point, and the smile is beginning to fade. Again, if we look at the hands though, there's no real tension. She's not getting angry, she's not anxious in any way, shape or form, but she's just sitting there looking ahead. What's going on next to her from Meghan? We've got this very big hand gesture going on, very animated, both hands out, palms out, and if we look at her facial expression, again, animated, lots of emotion going on there, and it's really not exactly what she's saying at this point, it's the fact that she's doing this level of animated movement when in fact she's sitting next to the Queen. And normally that would mean either carefully mirroring the Queen, or it would mean keeping just that little bit more subdued. It's almost as though when you go out on that first induction, it's probably more usual to adopt the body language of a lady in waiting, somebody that is there, very mindful, very watchful, but very much down the pecking order, not upstaging the Queen. And I think Meghan here, that big gesture might not have quite received the official royal approval. And then we got a different relationship. This is fascinating because Meghan began to adopt an extremely regal air. And good for her, you know, you're going to do a job, you're going to do a gig, you're going to have an acting role, go for it. You know, the more accurate it can be, the better. And if you can see here, I mean, this is on the balcony, she's standing terribly upright, shoulders very straight, symmetrically on to the cameras. Look at the stretch of that neck. That's the kind of thing that you only really see in royal characters that are not real. I can't think of any of our royals that walk around with that level of elegance. In fact, not many of them have a heap of elegance, really. They're a lot more down to earth, really. She's got that wonderful jawline, and that leads to this rather aloof looking down her nose. And the hands very much behind the back, and that would be very much somebody on kind of their best behaviour, not that she's got a bad behaviour, but that means that, no, I'm fine and I'm just going to stand here and I'm not going to upstage. It's beautiful body language. It's uber regal body language. Nothing like the body language that Harry's doing. I mean, he's just looking like Harry. Again, we have what looks like a glare coming from the Queen. Again, I don't think it is. I think when you see people on the balcony, we don't quite get the perspective, because in actual fact, Harry and Meghan, or Meghan in particular, could be behind the Queen, and the Queen might not even, apart from peripheral vision, be able to see her. But again, unfortunately, in terms of history, the iconic photograph, we've got the Queen appearing to glare, and Meghan looking uber regal. I don't think it was as bad as that. I think Meghan was trying to get it right, maybe trying almost too hard, and how she imagined royals would look, the kind of idealised view, rather than the real view. And the Queen maybe was looking at something over the other side of the balcony. But I still think that this pose is very telling in terms of where these two women seem to end up, which is that no dislike, a lot of admiration for Meghan, but in a way Meghan almost starting to look more royal than the royals.